They almost gave up on him. Anyone who watched that start to the season up close knows that Jasson Domínguez carried on his shoulders not only the weight of wearing the heaviest uniform in baseball, but also the expectation of being the Martian, the prodigy kid they'd promised since the minor leagues. But what if I told you that it was precisely when everything seemed lost that the spark was lit? In the hallways of Yankee Stadium, there are people who swear that Aaron Boone fought a silent battle. It wasn't just about giving him a vote of confidence. It was about backing the kid while each strikeout brought a new round of questions from the press. The New York Post Sports didn't hold back. 3 hits in 36 attempts from the right side, an OPS of 0.381, and 16 strikeouts against lefties through May 5th. Can you imagine the pressure? In New York, where every stat becomes a headline, this performance would have put a lot of veterans on the bench. But Boone looked ahead. He hasn't set the world on fire yet, Boone said the other day. Some people laughed. But that line hides a warning. Yet, anyone who truly understands baseball knows that when a manager keeps using yet, it's because he sees something the rest don't, and more people are betting on him. Jazz Chisholm Jr., who knows what it's like to carry huge expectations too soon, was one of the first to pat the kid on the back. Max Fried, from the other side of the mound, also said he sees a talent that just needs time. But time is the one thing in shortest supply in the Bronx. If there's one place where patience is a luxury, it's here. And Dominguez had no choice. After a rigorous spring training, he became a left fielder, a position that demands a different read on the game, more trust in your arm, another way of understanding every ball that cuts through the Bronx sky. It's almost poetic. The kid, still figuring things out at the plate, had to reinvent himself on defense just to keep breathing. And it's not just any left field. It's Yankee Stadium, where every mistake becomes a trending topic before the ball even hits the glove. The turnaround came quietly, but those paying attention saw it. In his last 7 games, Dominguez is hitting .471. Almost surreal for someone who carried a 0.381 OPS just weeks ago. The kid racked up 8 hits, 5 runs, a game with 4 hits, his first in the big leagues, and, most importantly, a different look in the batter's box. You can see it in his stance. He's not trying to crush the world with one swing anymore. He plays the game. He adjusts. That, at the end of the day, is what separates those who will be remembered from those who will disappear. But like in every good Yankees story, there's always a rumor whispering in the background. The same club that's hoisting Dominguez on its shoulders today quietly promoted its top outfield prospect to AAA Scranton/Wilkes-Barre this week. Coincidence? Anyone on the inside knows coincidence almost never exists. If Jasson stalls again, there's already someone warming up the bat to take his spot. Baseball is cruel like that. It's the silent rotation of names that go from promise to question mark, and in the end, to a footnote in the stats. And if we think back, how many went through this? Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar. How many hype kids couldn't sustain an entire summer under the Bronx lights? That's why this turnaround from Dominguez hits different for those who truly love the game. Because it's not just a hitting streak. It's a mental battle. It's the kid who knows that every inning could be his last chance. And you can't ignore the parallel with Judge. The same Judge who now has a giant mural at the entrance of Yankee Stadium was once mocked for endless strikeouts. He was once called a freak who couldn't control his power. But he endured. And the fans want to believe Dominguez can be that next chapter, the unofficial heir to that don't bury me too early mentality. The question is, will it last? What if this explosion is just another flash that fades when a road trip comes along? What if the next time he faces a dominant left-handed pitcher, he goes back to being an easy out? What if, deep down, the Yankees front office has already decided the future of the outfield will come from Scranton, not the Bronx? That's what makes this story so fascinating. Because every great comeback carries a taste of fear, and every promise is a clock that never stops ticking. Can you picture the scene? Bases loaded, tight game, Dominguez at the plate, the whole crowd on its feet. That's where a Yankee Stadium hero is born or dies. So I ask you, if you were Aaron Boone, would you let the kid bleed and learn or protect the lineup by bringing another name? That's the cruel beauty of baseball. It's too human to have an easy answer. And that's where Dominguez's story connects almost like a reflection with the quietest but equally vital part of this Yankees team, the bullpen. Because in the end, it's no use having a kid rising from the ashes in left field if, when it's time to lock down the win, there is a steady arm to slam the door shut. That's what has haunted the Bronx for years. A powerful lineup, a competent defense. But when it comes time for the bullpen to decide the game, trust is always a razor's edge. The numbers speak for themselves. The Yankees bullpen has the 7th best ERA in all of baseball. That's a stat worth respecting, no doubt. Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, right now, form a duo that brings order when the score tightens. But anyone who's lived through October in the Bronx knows that a pretty ERA in June means nothing when October's pressure starts breathing down every player's neck. It's a different game, a different temperature, a different demand. October doesn't forgive those who hide behind numbers. And in this scenario, the rumor that's fueling bar debates, WhatsApp groups, podcasts, and clubhouse chatter, Gregory Soto. The idea started with Lucas Babbitt's Feenerman from Fansided, but it's already gained traction among insiders. Soto, now with the Baltimore Orioles, has revived his career with 3.41 ERA in 35 games, after some unreliable seasons with ERAs over 4.5. But more than that, he's already been a 2-time All-Star. That's not nothing. Anyone who knows baseball knows that having a lefty specialist in Yankee Stadium can be the difference between an innocent ground ball and a devastating home run that silences 40,000 voices. Picture the scene. Game 6 of the ALCS. Yankees up by 1 run. The opposing lineup brings up its best lefty hitter. Boone, tired of improvising, signals to the bullpen. Weaver steps out. Soto comes in. First pitch, a brutal sinker, carving up the lower zone. Second, a slider like a blade, 48% whiff rate. Nearly half the swings become thin air. Strikeout. The crowd erupts. It's from moments like that every extra arm becomes pure gold when October arrives. But what intrigues me about this whole story is how the pieces connect. While Dominguez is finally showing why he was called the Martian since the minors, we learn to hit from both sides, mastering left field, running like every hit is a survival test. The Yankees front office is looking ahead and thinking, we can't waste this kid's effort. We can't let a season that finally shows promise slip away because of lack of depth on the mound. But bringing in Soto isn't simple. It'll cost prospects. It'll spark internal debate, especially because Baltimore is a division rival. Some think it's heresy to make a deal with the Orioles. But let's be honest, They're ready to sell. They're out of the race and have already signaled that the deadline will be a fire sale. Soto will become a free agent as soon as the year ends. It's now or never. And that now or never echoes like a mantra in the Bronx. It's the same mentality that kept Dominguez on the roster when half the fan base was already calling for him to be sent back to Scranton. It's the same courage Boone had to say, let the kid bleed and learn. Because deep down, that's what makes a championship team. The guts to bet when everything says don't bet. And if we look at the rivals, the Tampa Bay Rays are right there, breathing down their necks. Toronto Blue Jays, one hot streak, and they're right back in it. It's a house of cards. A reliable bullpen can be the foundation that keeps it all standing. An exposed bullpen can topple even the most feared lineup. And here's the drama. Do you trust what you have, or do you pay the price to secure what's missing? Because some say Weaver and Williams are more than enough. Some believe that Devin Williams' experience as a closer is enough to lock down a Game 7. But anyone who's seen series decided by a single hit, a walk, a command error knows you can never have too many arms. And what if Soto doesn't come? What if, in the end, he ends up in Tampa? Have you pictured that nightmare? Seeing Soto dominating lefties for a direct rival, helping the Rays silence the Bronx in October? That's the kind of scenario that keeps Yankees fans up at night. Meanwhile, Dominguez keeps writing his own redemption story. Every one of his hits is a reminder that the championship window is open, but not forever. It's almost poetic to see the kid who wasn't supposed to be there anymore gripping the bat with more confidence, while behind him, Weaver, Williams, and maybe Soto hold the final line. And if you close your eyes, you can see it. Bases loaded, 8th inning, the Bronx roaring. Dominguez does his part, pushes the lead. The bullpen comes in to defend like medieval wall guardians. That's how legends are born. That's how an ordinary season becomes eternal. In the end, there's this question that echoes in every mind that loves this game. Do you trust what you have? Or do you push it to the limit to bring in every piece that could make the difference when there's no more room for mistakes? Because the Bronx doesn't forgive. October, even less so. Drop a comment. What would you do if you were Cashman? Trade for Soto? Hold on to the prospects? Bet everything on Weaver and Williams? This team is a ticking time bomb of possibilities, and every rumor, every piece of inside info is a new chapter. So subscribe, stay tuned, because when the next arm arrives, or doesn't, you'll know every detail. Here, every inning is a movie. And with the Yankees, my friend, you never know the ending until the final swing.